Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. See you again today in our class. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, today we have the topic specific but also general. We talk about the IPM, or Integrated Management of Plant Pests. So you still remember what pest is? Okay, you? Something to do with microorganisms, that's good. That's something to do with the pathogen, and then what else? Insects, is good. Insects. And then the other good great one is weed. Yeah. So there are usually three bigs. That is for the IPM, for the pest itself. And then before we go further with this IPM, we go with the definitions. What the definition is? Integrated pest management is a pest management strategy based on the careful selection and application of various available control techniques, to control the pests. And then the goal is to reduce the pest population. So reduce the pest population below the threshold of economic loss. The economic loss, usually they have the economic level. Okay, when they reach the economic level, so that's the level that we have to avoid increasing of the population of the pest. And then while minimizing risk the human health, so that is also important. So there are threshold level, and then the human health. The third one is the environment. The three bases have to enter to the IPM. That's the definition. Remember that, yeah? The three of that. And then we know already that what's happened to our productions in the agricultures. So up to 20 to 40% of the global crop production is lost each year. Any plant. So you can imagine how big the loss is, right? This is based on the data, yeah? And then the global economic losses, if we convert it to rupiah, this is 3,597, about 3.9 trillions in a year. Every year we lost that amount. So that's huge, right? Huge amount of money. And then the figures confirm that IPM is really important. So again, IPM is integrated not only one strategy of control, but incorporated with other strategies, at least 2 strategies, but they have others. Okay? And then now let's go to this. This is the data. Yeah. The data when the rice diseases in Indonesia and also East Kalimantan. And then we can see here in the data, most all of the plant, this is rice, has the disease. So let's go to Pekalongan or in Jateng. Blast is dominated over there. And then how's the about 12% of areas disadvantages, about 50 to 90%. And then goes to, let's say now to the below, in the Kaltim. So many of the natural enemies of the rice, right? This is the data. And the larva population also, that's also important. And then let's go to the loss. How much loss? See, this is again the main disease of the rice. One is blast. Blast almost everywhere. For the rice field, we got the attack from blast disease. Blast disease caused by the pathogen Magnaporte aurigae. So the typical is about 10 to 30. And then the maximum one, the percentage loss is, so that's about 30%, right? And then they have a lot. Here you can see bacterial blight, BLB, and then seed blight, and also brown spot. Then this is the data. The blast. This is the picture I got it 2 months ago, about 2 months ago. No, and a half months. And then because the climate change, you know, the climates in our place nowadays change a lot. Sometimes in the morning it's really sunny, but in the middle of the days, very hot rain. We got that one. The problem on that time is it's not only rain and hot weather comes, but also windy. So it's happened only 2 days, and then the farmer informed me that most all of their plantation got the blast disease. So you can imagine the blast make the hulls is empty. So of course it will reduce the productions a lot. So that's why the farmer is really worried and then called me. And then because he said, but what can we do if the disease already come? We cannot do it anymore, right? So what we can do is only, we just make a suggestions, maybe go with the leather, don't you, because they have, it's not only one varieties that the farmer plant, but also more than one varieties on that time. He planted Digdaya, and then he also planted Impari 32 and others, yeah, IR 64 also. On that time, the Digdaya is the one who almost they lost the production, but the others can survive. Meanings, varieties is important. When you choose, when you want to plant, choose the resistant variety. Okay, so that's one thing. And then, oh, that's me. Come on, let's go with the triangle. The triangle, the IPM. Here, when we see here, this is the toxicity, and then go with the preventions. When we see the triangle here, and then the first one that we have to go is through the cultural control. So that's the best one. The best line is cultural control, meaning the toxicity is the minimum one. Yeah, and then when we go up, the chemical control is on the peak. Why on the peak? Because in the IPM, chemical control must become the last one. If we cannot avoid anymore, so we go with the last one. But what's happened in our farmers? It's not like that, right? Because why? Usually why? The farmer is never tidak sabar, ya kan? Yeah. They never patience. So that's the farmers. Because they always also, because the farmer is the businessman. They always count. They don't want to get lost. But again, they don't want also to think sometime go further. And you are as a students from agriculture, you have to think far. Yeah, for our future of the agriculture. Okay? Now we go with the cultural control and then go to mechanical control and then biological control. Why the mechanical control is above of the cultural controls, not vice versa? You see that the biological control still have more risk compared to the mechanical control. Because when we go with the biological control, we invest the organism, right? When we invest the organisms, so the organism needs to balance first, adjust in the environment. To make it adjust, it doesn't mean always success. Sometimes there's also failure, right? And there's also the change of the population, dynamic of the population in nature, right? When you invest one of the organisms, it doesn't mean always, but in the long term, when it is already sustained, you don't need anymore for the control. Because why? The organism already there, right? The parasite of the pest already there. The predator already there. So, for the long term, you have to go with the biological control, right? The chemical one, do you think that the chemical one cannot be used in the IPM? What do you think? Do we need to use the chemical or not? If you are the farmer. Come on, how about you? How about you, Andy? If you are the farmer, do you think that you need the chemical? Because in our, theory of the IPM, chemical is the big one. So the last choice. So when the farmer can use the chemicals? When? Exactly. Sometime when the epidemic, remember? The epidemic is when the population growth very high over the space very fast. The population very high. The space is very fast, ya kan? And usually over the continent. It's not only in Kalimantan, not only in Java, but go over like COVID. We cannot help anymore. So we have to go with chemicals because cannot help anymore, right? So that is the situation when we need. But as much as possible, that must be become the last chance, right? So that is, yeah. And then you can see here the integrated pest management here is. Then you have to also familiarize or know your pest and plant health problem. What's the problem? So you have to familiar with the problem on the site, yeah, on the field. And then decide it. What is an accepted pest damage for your situation? Which one? Because every pest will be different as a right, with the data. So maybe the situation in East Kalimantan is different with the Java. Because why? The climate also different, right? In East Kalimantan, we have the humidity, how much? More than 80%. But in Java, it's not like that one, right? Okay. And then also available management practices. So and then sometimes we say that we have to use like Nabati pesticide. But sometimes it's not available over there. How can we suggest the farmer? If the materials is not available. And even sometimes that's more expensive, right? So we have to see how's the situation on the field itself. And then the time also important when you have to control it. So when you have to control it, again, to the economic threshold. If it is only like, let's say the larva is still 2 larvae, but this is not yet reached the economic level, don't you control it. Why? Because it will be more expensive compared to the production, or you earn more the profit. So you will get lost again, right? Because the business. So that's why you count it, okay? Now let's go. Here, the concept of economic wounds threshold. You see here, when we with the IPM, and then we don't go with the IPM, you see the blue line. If you want to control the one, it will be difficult. Why? Because it will fly forever, right? Very difficult to catch. But you have to know where the insect will lay the egg. Sometimes on the fruit, sometimes behind. Right? If you have the rice by there, the insect will lay the eggs. So that's the place that you are going to control, right? And then you will get directly to your pest. So that decrease the population. This is, you already know this, yeah? This is with the tiling soil, will mix the soil go and then get the sun shining, and then it will also reduce the pathogen and also the eggs of the insect inside of the land. And then with management, you have to use also that one. And then fertility management, of course, because it's not only make the plant will get the nutrient, but also the advantageous microbes also will grow well, right? And it will become the biological control. And then rotation, and then the cycle of the insect, right? Because all of the organisms need food to survive, to live, even you, right? So how you cut the population is by cutting the food. So meaning by rotate the mechanism, and then biological control, as I told you before, this is really important. So a lot of the microorganism becomes biological agent to control the pests. It's not only insect, but also the diseases. And also nowadays, also develop control the weeds with the biological control. Okay, this is, as I told you, this is the big one, the pesticide, the last choice for the IPM. And then again, we need always monitor to see, let's say, where is the threshold, right? Because the threshold usually we already have the research, and then when the threshold reach, recognize it. Every insect or every pest has a different threshold, and then this is, you have to monitor again. This is the tools, and here the impact again. Let's see, yeah, without the IPM, this is, and with the IPM, the integrity will different in the curve. Here, the microbe, I told you, it is really important. You cannot see it, but it's really happen in our daily, right? Important as a biological control. But that's also the microbe also important as a pathogen, cause the diseases, right? And this is the micropest control, yeah? This is the biological control. Trichoderma is already so much popular and already commercial. Bacillus subtilis also commercial. That's the bacteria. Dominant fluorescence. Bavaria bassiana or BB, they call it. This is, go to Shopee and then you can find it, you can buy it. Tell you. So when you want to go, let's say the research, you can buy it, right? Because that's already commercial. Easy now. You just choose your fingers. You get it? And then metarhiziums. Metarhizium is really popular also. For most of the insects, yeah, you can. And now we find that metarhiziums not only, you know, go to control the pest, insect, but also to the increase for the pathogen too. And metarhizium also as endophytic fungi. Endophytic means it will grows inside of the plant, but the plant still healthy. So the endophyte. Here again, see the blast, the disease incidence, and how effective the biocontrol. Yes, the blast without and with. How far the decreation of the bar itself. Yeah, you can see from the graph. And then this is the case study. This is the case study in Iskutai. This study is conducted by me and my team during research. So you can see the intensity is about 20, 30%, 35%, and then in Samarinda, Habede is the highest one. So about 6 to 26%. And then also in Pasir, so Busuk Pelepah, yeah, that's about 15 to 25. And then now, remember the component. IPM has a component, okay? There are 4 components of IPM. 1, prevention. Prevent as long as you can. How to prevent it? 1, by choosing the resistant varieties. By treat your seeds with the biological fungi as a biological agent. And then, yeah, and then you control it. Control means if the disease or the attack of the insect already happened, so you control. But when you manage from the beginning to the end, when you control, meaning you already have problem. Okay? And then evaluation, that you evaluate again. Whatever you did, and then you evaluate it. So that's the component, yeah? And then this is the IPM, yeah, on paddy. As I told you, from the beginning to the end. And then go with the biological control. Selective, if we still have use the chemicals, use it the selective one, because they have like broad, yeah, broad range, so it can, you know, control a lot of pests, but they also have a selective one. If still possible, use the selective one, because why? It will not harmful to others organism. Here is the conclusion one. That the IPM is pest management strategy and reduce the pest population below the threshold economic loss, minimizing to the human and also to the environment. Why the human is important? Of course, all of the thing is concerned with the human. That's our needs, right? The focus is always human. And then the environment is for the equilibrium, right? So that's important. And then microbes play an important role in the control of environmentally friendly. And then the effectiveness, that's about 40 to 60%. The integration of microbiology supports sustainable agriculture. We always have to think sustainable agriculture, right? So that's all my presentation. Come on, we go with the discussion. Okay, now we start with the discussion session. Okay, I already explained a lot about the IPM, but I believe a lot of things that you already caught in your mind. Okay, now we go with the discussion. Anybody? This is what I want to do is in this session, somebody will have a questions, and then from you also will answer the question of your friend. Okay? Okay. Now the question. Okay, but see, the question is really good. I think that's to remember the pick one, right? Okay, anybody want to answer?
I want to. I want to
Okay.
answer it.
Andy?
Is
Good.
you can Andy. Answer is why we need a of this for the long because the pest resistant. Also, secondary pest risks and eco disruption due to natural enemies. And in the otherwise, the IP combine first control method, the like the mechanic, like the cultural practice, and the use of resistant varieties that we can work together. Population is in the below of the economic threshold, without harm the environment. Also, the IPM reduce the pesticide residues on the product of agriculture, and lowers of cost of production on the chemical inputs. Also, the IPM helps maintain the agro ecosystem for the balance while supporting of sustainable agriculture. It is safe for human, animal, also for the environment.
I think that's really good, Andy. That's really good answers. Okay, now any other question to your friend? I think he already answered it completely. That's really good. Thank you, Andy. And then is there any questions? Yeah, you? And then what is the question? Yes.
Type of pest before taking measure.
So that's really good. Why you need to identify? I already explained it, right? The cycle, why you need to identify your pest. So anybody want to answer that? Okay, please. Mention your name, please.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Satya Raja Ramadhani. I will answer the question from Mr. Bintang about why is it important to identify the type of pest before taking control measure. My answer is it important to identify the type of pest before taking control measures because each pest, disease, or weed has different biological or ecological characteristic requiring specific and targeted strategies. Mistakes in identification can lead to use of ineffective control methods or materials, which may even harm crops and the environment. By accurately identifying the pest species, farmer can determine the right timing for control, select appropriate methods, biological, mechanical, chemical, or cultural, and avoid excessive pesticide use. In addition, proper identification helps monitor pest-resistant development, increase control cost efficiency, and protect natural enemies that play an important role in maintaining ecosystem balance. Overall, accurate identification of pests is a crucial first step in implementing integrated pest management, or IPM, to achieve optimal, safe, and sustainable agricultural production.
Okay, now maybe the question from me. Okay, one question. Anybody want to answer that? What is the importance of IPM today? This is the question that I already mentioned. Yeah, one of the concepts of the IPM. Why the IPM is important for the human and also for the environment. Anybody want to answer it? Anybody can answer? Okay, good.
My name is Angel Suparto. You can call me Angel. So the answer is the implementation of integrated pest management, or IPM, provides significant benefit for both the environment and human health by reducing dependence on chemical and pesticides, thereby preventing soil, water, and air pollution. In addition, IPM helps maintain ecosystem by protecting natural and enemies of pests uh, and other beneficial organisms. For humans, IPM the implementation of integrated pest management or IPM provided significant benefits both the environment and health by human health by reducing dependence on chemical and pesticides, thereby preventing soil, water, and air pollution. In addition, IPM help maintain ecosystem balance by protecting natural enemies of pests and other beneficial organisms. For humans, IPM reduce the risk of exposure to harmful chemical and minimizes pesticide reduce in agricultural products, resulting in safer and healthier food for consumption. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we're going to go to the discussion section. And I think this one is really excellent. You got everything that I already delivered to you. Yeah? Now, anybody else want to have a question? Anybody else? No more question? Are you sure? Okay, if you already understand, but again, because not everybody, I saw it here, active in the discussion. Now, we go with the small quiz. Could you please get your paper? We will have a small quiz, okay? Please write down your name. Small quiz. Ready? One. Ready? Are you ready? Okay. Question number one. What is the three bases of IPM? Month. Please be confident. Don't forget the other done. And then, ready? The question number two. What is the importance of IPM? Okay, remember, this is ready? You ready? Come on, somebody help me. Yeah, I think this is the end of our class today. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah. And then if you have any other questions in your mind, and then you can come back at any time. Just contact me back in our group. Okay. I think that's all. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Like all of your words. Like somebody Okay, thank you very much, everybody. See you again for the next class. Okay?